Vanguard funds are much like buy and hold, investing because there is a great selection of high-quality, low-cost mutual funds and ETFs. These features make Vanguard funds ideal choices for long-term investors. In today's video we'll be talking about top Vanguard Roth IRA funds, so without further ado, let's dive into the video. First is the Vanguard Total Bond Market Index Fund. The Vanguard Total Bond Market Index Fund holds high-quality, investment-grade bonds from the United States. The fund is designed to provide exposure to a wide range of the U.S. bond market and has an annual dividend yield of 2.16% as of April 2021. The fund is intended to serve as a core bond holding for investors. Bonds generally have low volatility and provide a steady supply of interest payments to the investor. Taxes on the interest payments are deferred in a Roth IRA account, making it an ideal place to hold such investments. The fund holds over 18,500 securities with $73.3 billion in assets under management as of October 2018. Around 46.5% of the bonds are issued by the U.S. government, including bonds across a range of maturities. The remaining bonds are corporate, fixed income instruments with different credit ratings. The main sectors represented by corporate bonds are the finance sector and the industrial sector. The average effective maturity of the bonds in the fund is 8.5 years. The average duration of the bonds is 6.6 years. The minimum investment for the fund is $3,000. The fund has an expense ratio of 0.05%, which is very low. Second is Vanguard 500 Index. This index fund tracks the S&P 500, so it holds about 500 of the largest U.S. stocks. VFIAX shareholders get exposure to stocks like Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Alphabet, the parent company of Google. VFIAX is a smart choice for building a portfolio that includes other stock funds, such as small and mid-cap funds. The expense ratio for VFIAX is 0.04%. The minimum initial investment is $3,060. Third is the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. The Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund provides exposure to the entire U.S. equity market. Investors who are looking to create wealth through price appreciation should consider a broad-based equities fund such as the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund. Although equities have higher volatility than bonds, they return more to the investor over a longer period of time. The fund's holdings include small, mid, and large cap stocks. The fund is extremely well diversified, with 3,745 holdings. It pays a yield of 1.36%. The fund has over $238 billion in assets under management, and charges a very low 0.04% expense ratio. In terms of a sector breakdown, the technology sector has the largest weighting in the fund at 22.9%. This is followed by the finance sector, with a 14% weighting. In third is the healthcare sector, with a 13.7% weighting. The top 10 individual holdings comprise 21% of the total net assets, with Microsoft as the top holding. Fourth is the Vanguard Right Index Fund. The Vanguard Right Index Fund provides a way for an investor to gain exposure to real estate in an IRA. The fund invests in REITs that buy office buildings, hotels, and other properties. This fund may provide a good method for portfolio diversification, as real estate often moves separately, but not necessarily divergently, from the stock market. The fund holds 176 securities, with net assets of $37.9 billion, and an expense ratio of 0.12%. The unadjusted effective yield is 3.5%, which may not account for how the REITs classify their distributions for tax purposes. The largest portfolio weighting is towards specialized REITs with 31.5%. This is followed by retail REITs at 14.8%, with residential REITs following at 13.5%. Fifth is Vanguard Star. You may have noticed that you'll need $3,000 to start investing in funds, but VGSTX has a lower minimum of just $1,000. It's also a fund of funds, which means that it invests in other mutual funds all in one fund option. The Star Fund invests in a diversified mix of 11 Vanguard funds, making it a solid option for beginning investors, or those who want a single fund solution. The expense ratio is 0.31%, but Vanguard claims that it's still 62% lower than funds with similar holdings. Sixth is Vanguard Total International Stock Market Index. Most investors will include international stock funds to build a complete long-term portfolio. VTIAX is one of the best Vanguard funds for this purpose. VTIAX tracks an index that includes over 6,000 non-U.S. stocks. It includes both developed markets and emerging markets. Shareholders can gain exposure to the entire stock market outside the U.S. for a low expense ratio of just 0.11%. The minimum initial investment is $3,000. Investors can also pick up the index at one-share costs, like Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, VXUS, with a lower expense ratio of 0.08%. Seventh is Vanguard Growth Index. Investors who are willing to take more risk in exchange for higher returns than the broad market indexes can take a look at VIGAX. This index fund holds large cap, growth stocks that have historically outperformed the S&P 500, especially for periods of 10 years or more. Expenses for VIGAX are 0.05%. The minimum initial investment is $3,010. VIGAX is also available as Vanguard Growth ETF with a 0.04% expense ratio. Eighth is Vanguard Balanced Index. Vanguard has a small but very nice selection of balanced funds, mutual funds or ETFs that invest in stocks and bonds. VBINX has a moderate, medium risk allocation of about 60% stocks and 40% bonds. The stock portion invests in a total stock index. The bond portion invests in a total bond index. The expenses are 0.07%. The minimum initial investment is $3,011. Ninth is Vanguard Midcap Index. Historically, small and mid-cap stocks have performed better than large-cap stocks in the long run, but mid-cap stocks can be the wisest choice of the three. Although mid-cap stocks generally have a higher market risk, they typically have a lower risk than small caps. Investors often consider mid-caps to be the sweet spot of investing because of their returns in relation to risk. VIMAX has a low expense ratio of 0.05%. The minimum initial investment is $3,012. The same blend is also available as Vanguard Midcap ETF, VO, with a 0.04% expense ratio. Last one, Vanguard Target Retirement Funds. There are several Vanguard Target Retirement Funds to choose from. Some investors are wise to consider this unique investment type. As the name suggests, the strategy of these funds is geared toward the target retirement year that is specific to the fund. For example, Vanguard Target Retirement 2040, VFORX, has an asset allocation of about 85% stocks and 15% bonds, which is about right for an investor who will be retiring near the year 2040. Vanguard is a pioneer in the index fund space, having created the first index mutual fund in 1976. The group offers some of the lowest expense ratios in the industry, which can be utilized to positively impact the rate of return for mutual fund investments over time. Many investor portfolios carry at least one, if not all three, of the mutual funds mentioned. That wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay notified about our uploads. I'll see you next time. Till then, peace out.